Thank you, Chimo. So yeah, so we let's start for those that are gonna see the recording. So today's call is not dedicated for the software, as that call is on Wednesday. So on Wednesday we meet with everybody that wants to learn and understand about the software, but also for the development team that is working on the software and improving it and so on. Today's call, instead, it is about Augmented Mind, which is the community that we are building, the DAO that we are building, but also the philosophy behind this North Star that guides us to build what we're doing. And the goal in somehow is, if we have augmented mind, what shall we do with those minds? And my invitation is to change the world, okay, to do something big. So we have now something that was tough to achieve, especially as an individual. Now we have AI that can augment us. And if you are here, is because you probably use it and you saw that the impact that can do in some in some moments. Okay, the impact is huge. And now the idea is, what if I can do this so much on my own? What can I do within a community? So I thought this is a great opportunity for finding people like me that think, okay, we can do something. We don't need just to look at this corporation and the governments and whatever, designing a path that doesn't include us as an individual, and and we should design our own. So that was the idea of starting this YouTube channel, to be like this lighthouse, to invite people, to select people. The video are done in a certain way to, to select. It's not for everybody. And if you're here because you're one of those that managed to get through and find value in it. So before we start, again, some of you introduced themselves, and I like this. And there are some people that keep coming and are more stable inside this community. And I don't know if you, Chimo, Sal, and Tom, Michelle wants to introduce yourself to the community, and Greg that just joined.
Yeah,
Just a few words.
I'm
Yes.
Timo, and I'm here to show that you don't need to be an expert in AI or in coding to belong to this community. It's a great hang. We have amazing conversations, and that's why we started Thursday, to take that one step further and listen to all of you. Yeah, thank you.
My name's Tom Pennington, and I've been uh, helping out a little bit for the last few weeks. I've been programming for quite a long time since I was a kid. Spent a lot of time in IT industry and mobile, web, government, education, just really all across the stack, all across the uh, market. Um, really got engaged when OpenClaw started ramping up. Got involved in that and then found Manolo's system and what he was doing and really gravitated towards that. Really, the whole philosophy and model behind um, achieving some type of sovereignty and just local control of the intelligence that I'm using as a developer. Well, that's my primary purpose, is to make sure I take control over it and also make it so that I can provide it safe to use for my family. Because at this stage, without it unharnessed, I don't even allow my family to use it. So
Thank you, Tom. So
Um, I I kind of come to this group again, like not a tech person, though I've been using AI because um, it's we all know why, the potential of it is so amazing. But my use cases, um, I like to like I'm involved in philanthropy and international mission and like it's just amazing how much good you can do by building teams and by inviting people. Like there's so many people that want to be involved in something important. So um, when I first started seeing the videos from Manolo, it was both sides for me. It was both things. And that's why like I jumped in with 2 feet because I see the potential. And so that's why I'm here.
Uh, thank you. Anyone else wants to introduce themselves? Michael, Michelle, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I get used to it. When I travel, everyone wants to call me Michael. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm Michel or Michael. I'm a designer. Uh, I've been working recently, well, in the past 20 years, working as a web designer, in a robotic too. Uh, I pretty much like to touch many different fields. Like I do photography too, drawing. I draw like since I'm kids too. I'm a musician also, DJ, uh, and I really like to try different like technology. Like I've been developing some application by myself, learning a little bit about development. I'm not a coder, but I can read some code and I can understand it. I find it very fascinating how you can talk with a machine and translate. It's like a language for me. It's like speaking Spanish or speaking English. You just speak machine, like coding. So yes, that's it. So of course, with the AI, it's naturally for me to dig and to search about it. Recently, since OpenClaw, it really, I don't know, it just blew my mind what you can do, the possibility once you run it by yourself, because you can watch many videos, but once you do it by yourself, you just like, one time I remember I couldn't sleep because it kept me awake because I realized I can do like the possibilities like huge, it's like infinity or almost. It's kind of scary because once you can do anything, how to start, what to do actually. So yeah. So this is really interesting for me. Say once I found the Manolo video, for me it was a sign because everything he say, I just resonate about it. Yeah. For me, it was like a call for me to join the community because for the past like years, I've been like really interested in privacy, sovereignty, and the Web3. And you can see how even the blockchain, even the digital world is moving to a different way where you can, I don't know, you can choose what multiverse you want to be in. So that's it for me. It's like really like interesting and really happy to join the community and the talk.
Thank you, Michelle. Uh, so again, if anybody wants to introduce, I'm really curious, and it's nice to see new faces. So if you want to say anything, introduce yourself. I'm really happy to hear about you, but I don't want to push anybody to do it. Okay, but
Just one thing related to that. I'm gonna put the form. So if you're new and you want to let us know a little bit about you, you can fill the form. But of course, only share what you're comfortable sharing. But it gives us a guide of your availability and your skills and what you would like to build. Okay? Thank you, Manolo.
thank you, Chimo.
Sorry, I'd like to say a few words, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
First of all, thank you for hosting this event. It's really cool. I like to get involved in something like this. you seem like a cool guy just to go on YouTube and talk and say your opinion about all this AI or agentic OS related info. So I got interested to hear you often, actually. I'm in the Boston area. I'm software engineer, but robotics and embedded systems, really. But recently, I gave up everything just to focus on AI and develop my own products. Working currently on two AI, most 100% AI based or vibe coded products. One is I'm going to release soon. Is for one is for profit and one for non-profit. The for profit one is a bookkeeper, as like a personal assistant bookkeeper. It does all the bookkeeping because I came up with this because I had so much trouble under pressure and a lot of projects. I didn't want to deal with accounting and bookkeeping for my own business. So I was so frustrated under pressure to deal with that and paying companies that every year double their costs, especially with QuickBooks. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, and dealing with accountants. So I developed my own bookkeeping product, and now even from Telegram or WhatsApp, you can communicate with it, take a snapshot of a bill, and it all goes automatically in the system, generates reports and all that. So I'm releasing the beta version next week. So hopefully it will get some good interest.
Nice.
And the other,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, carry on.
And the other applications for the elderly care. This is for nonprofit. So I'm focusing on helping the elderly in their, let's say, at their home to be able to allow them to communicate with the bot. And in case of emergency, have this bot call some emergency contact or their family members to help them in their daily demands, remind them of their medications and stuff like that. So still work in progress, but working on it.
Really
And thank
nice.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how to
I
pronounce your
will.
name. Yeah, but go ahead. I was talking about you.
So I misspelled my name, and I am currently on web, so I can't change it.
Okay.
I am Stephen, spelled with a PH, not no H.
Okay.
So I found your content while doing research because I was building something fairly similar to what you have created, actually. And my day job is marketing. I have a background in business development and marketing communications. Done a lot of work in the startup field. Did a decent amount of work in like the startup field as it relates to blockchain and like crypto and that sort of thing. Worked on some very interesting projects I can't talk about. And then got into AI when I found this stupid little thing that I could chat with called GPT-2. So I've been in it for a while, and there has been a complete shift in the last 6 weeks in the capability of these models. So I'm here to just talk and check it out and see what you guys are up to.
Thank you, Stephen. All right. So if there is more people joining. Uh, I'm so bad in names. I want to say correctly, but I don't know anymore. So Avon Stegen. You introduced yourself at the beginning, but you were just the three of us. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself again.
Yeah, just call me Andrew. Sorry for
You're
my
correct.
complicated name. I'm only. Yeah, I was actually working on some AI and stuff. I've been doing AI for the last 6 years. I've always been fascinated in it in the last year. I've been in crypto for a long time, kind of fell into that because I've always been fascinated with computers. I'm an engineer by profession, mechanical, not computer though. But I've always, as a mechanical engineer, always worked with computers, especially CAD. Did 10 years of my professional engineering in Europe. So I didn't speak English. I always spoke German, especially Germany, Austria, in that area. And I came across your channel, Anoli, when I was playing around with AI. I did actually build quite a few things. I've always wanted to learn coding, but the only problem with coding is it's like a language. It takes time, it takes experience. Not everything I did on a day-to-day basis could I play with developing different programs and scripts. But the amazing thing with AI is, as an engineer, you want a specific output, you give it an input, you want an output. And what makes it so simple is like, I want this result, make it for me. And it makes it so simple for engineers. People are not fluent in programming, especially like Misha said, you don't have to have a software engineering degree or a programming degree to finally tap into something so amazing as building apps or building programs, con jobs. And I just kind of went down the rabbit hole with a project I was working on, and I was like, I could use AI to make this. And I think, building or evolving into something like you were building. I actually, like I said in the Discord, I had the idea of making a multi-brain system to where you can use. It's kind of the similar idea of what the guy who built OpenClaw created. His vision was to not just have one LLM, but multi LLMs, which you can pull from. And I think that goes back to the saying, as there's, multiple brains are better than one. So why not use multiple agents, multiple LLMs, have a structured brain to where you could actually create multiple LLMs pulling from along, like a memory, and have. My idea was even you could go as far as crazy as having a decentralized memory for each individual, to where it's sovereign, it's decentralized, like in crypto, and you're not saving your memory to one specific computer. It's decentralized over multiple computers. So if you lose your laptop or you use your phone or your computer, you can still tap back into your memory, and you don't lose that special knowledge that you've built up. And watching your videos, it resonated with me too, because you talked about each individual having their own memories and their own individual traits, and everything is kind of saved, and we don't want to just give that up to some corporation. And I think it's a great idea to have a community that fights for that sovereignty, to keep that individual aspect of who we are. And I also see AI, most people think it as a threat, where I see it as a tool like the computer once was. It's something that we can use as human beings to become not necessarily smarter. Like in that list video, you said AI is very knowledgeable, but it's very stupid. And it's when you work with it, you see it on a day-to-day basis. Even when I was working with it the other day to make I was designing something for a project using CAD. And I told the AI, I was like, render me this building. And the ideas are cool, but as an engineer, I'm like, this would never work. It's stupid. I mean, it's absolutely nonsense what you're spitting out. But I could still use those ideas, and it'd be cool to build on those ideas. So AI is a tool, and I don't see it as an intelligence, so to speak, like once like you said in your video. So yeah. I'll
Thank
just
you,
leave it
Andrew.
at that.
Thank you for sharing this. And for me, it's really important to see who's behind, who's watching this video, because it's I've been honestly for months trying to build this lighthouse to invite like-minded people, and then now we are meeting and connecting, and this community is growing pretty fast. So at the beginning of the year, we were around 100 people. Now we are 615 in a couple of months. So things are happening, and there is this common demand for building this future, okay, to change the world. There is this internal voice that connect us all, and sometimes it's confusing because so it's weird also for me. I'm not saying that it's normal, but it's such a big thing that I'm suggesting to do, which in the past probably I would be seen as okay, this is crazy, okay, yeah, changing the world, okay. But now we can all experience that actually this is possible. We have this common feeling as say, yeah, someone has to do it, okay, and nobody should own it, and therefore this is why we need the DAO, okay, the decentralization. It's not about owning the world won't change because of one person. It's going to change because of a community, and that community needs to be owned by the community, and therefore it needs to think from the, who are the people inside the community, but how can we work together? How can this be really decentralized in the sense I might be, I mean, in this scenario, looks like, because we all started together and somehow, okay, but in this scenario, looks like, okay, we just came to the lighthouse and seems like I'm the one that's starting, but we all started in their own way. And now what we need to do is to find this common reality that we can build together. So today call, it is exactly about this. It is exactly say, okay, we are augmented mind. We are those AI artisans that we want to change the world. Okay, we feel it's possible. And there is the manifesto. I don't know if you've been reading the manifesto, the DAO. There is a lot of details of how this can be done. But nevertheless, there is a need to discuss and see our vision. No, I want to, before I want, the idea of this meeting is to hear you talking. Okay, I really want to know your story, your what are your dreams, what are your fears, and so on. So we can see the community participating and designing together this vision. But I want to share this idea of mapping worlds. So I'm gonna be messy, okay, while I'm explaining this, but I'm gonna try it. So my feeling here is we live, all of us, in theory, we live in the same reality. Okay, but each one of us is mapping this reality in our own way, through our culture, through our experiences. We give different meanings to different things, and we understand things differently. And so each one of us is trying to map this reality through our senses, from our intuition. This is a massive creative job that each one is doing. And it's in somehow it's not recognized. Okay, but if we look at it, okay, we are 16 people, each one of us with a different interpretation of the reality. Now, talking together, studying the same thing, reading the same books, watching the same videos and music and so on, these create elements that connect this reality. So now we can talk. Okay, I can tell you a story, you understand. Yeah, yeah, because I know that story. So these elements that help us connecting allow us to communicate, understand, and build together, and so on. But there are some elements that belong only to ourselves. Okay, those are intimate moments that represent our identity. Okay, this is the identity of the reality that we've been building. This reality has a massive value. And if I mean, most of us live in or been living in a multicultural society, so you can see when you interact with a different culture, how much you can see. Okay, this is an interesting new world that I didn't know about, and you start increasing your one because now you see a different way of interpreting reality, and now once you see, you can't unseen it, and therefore your world change shape. And that is the beauty of traveling and meeting new people and so on. So this creating of mapping the world, it's something that is amazing for us, but is a skill that is required for working with AI. AI cannot build its own world. It's incapable of doing anything without us. So we have the responsibility of building that, to mapping the world for AI, so AI can reason within that world and then be useful for us. So now this world at the moment is being built by a few company. Okay, few company train those AI, and those AI learn to interpret reality in a specific way, which sometimes is in line with us, sometimes is not. And the problem here is that we have no control of those. Okay, we have no control of those AI. And most of them come from two reality. Okay, one is the US and the other is China. But when we look at the US one, they come from basically one city, okay, one group of people, really a minority of demographic. That one are building an AI that is, I feel, at least for myself, I feel not in line with me. Okay, it doesn't do what I want to do. It doesn't think in the way that I think. It doesn't. There is a friction with this intelligence, and the problem here is, while within human we might have friction, but we all adapt. Okay, we work together, and the friction make us change the both sides, so we can then find a something in common, something to work with. AI cannot learn, so it can change. So friction against something that it doesn't move. So it's a friction that you can't do much with it. Okay, it stay there. So what we're building with Resonant OS is a way to govern the friction in the way that we force AI to behave in a specific way. And the act of forcing an intelligent is, first of all, it's not beautiful. Second, it doesn't always work. And third, it just showed that there is a fragility in this structure. Now, the alternative is to train your own model. Okay, so you train it for yourself. It's extremely expensive. We can only do with our local small model. We could train them and allow them to build a reality that is in line with us. Something that I'm gonna experiment and do and share this experiment with everybody. But the what I'd like to discuss is this world building, this mapping the reality. Because we as a community, we need to create our own reality. So you're here because you resonated with the reality that I'm exposing to you. Okay, so I had this. I've been working for years to build this reality. Now I'm sharing and resonate with you, and therefore you're being attracted. This reality is it's a sort of north star. Okay, it's tell us we should go there. This is the augmentism. Okay, we should go towards that direction. That direction will build something, will create something. But that direction is not something that is steady. We need to keep adapting that direction to the reality, and by discussing this we can, in reality, understand it better and create this common map of reality where we can, collaborate and work and build together. That is my thinking, and I'd like to hear your thought about this. If you have any questions, any idea, there is no about this discussion that we have today. There's no right or wrong. Okay, you express, there is an intuition. Let me explain this part because it's so important. We are at the edge of this exploration with AI. Okay, this is the work of pioneers. There is no right and wrong. There is only experimentation. So even a wrong experimentation, a wrong idea can create quality data and discover something important. So really, there is no right and wrong here. There is only your intuition that can guide you to explore in a direction that you think is right, and doesn't matter if the other don't think that is right. What it matters is that you have a sincere call inside you that say, I want to go there and discover something. Okay, this is the pioneer job, to connect with your intuition and say, I want to go there. And maybe I want to go the other direction. And because we don't go in the same direction, you're going to discover something that I will never do, and vice versa. Then we discuss and we learn from each other. That is how I see this. So I'm gonna now shut up and allow anybody of you that to share your intuition and say what you think. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I what you say, it makes me think of, in my experience teaching and running workshops, how we look to get that energy when people start to listen to each other and you feel the cognitive capacities in the room grow. You feel people's attention span expand. And it's like they are on some fantastic drugs where their brain just expands and they're able to learn. And I always thought we needed to be in a classroom, preferably, or in some kind of belonging to a community of learning, and being present physically was part of it. And I think we're all experiencing augmentism. It operates in some similar sphere. So we now have this feeling, not only what we can do with the tools, but we feel like our brain is expanding. And I think that's why when you talk, Manolo, about a project that in another time would have been laughed at or nobody would have really worked hard on it, that's why we all resonate and we all believe it's worth working on it, because get a sense, it's apart obviously from your message and how you explain things, but it activates something that is already in the making with what's happening with AI, what we're all feeling. Thank you.
Noli, if you may, I have to leave here in a minute. I just want to leave this idea for the group and then I have to go. But this is an idea I actually had just about a half hour ago. Something that you guys can discuss later in the chat when I'm gone, or yeah, how you want to do it. But I had this idea, how would it be if we had AI in some way, instead of using credentials like biometrics or something, to where when you interact with it, it knows you. It knows you just by the questions it can ask you or by the conversation you have with it. So you could actually think of it more than biometrics. It knows you by your individuality, by how you react to it, because it's learned over time. Oh, this is Andrew, or this is Anoli, or this is Michelle, or whoever. Your individual AI trained to you knows you, and you can't somehow replace that. And I thought it'd be a crazy idea that something like that in the future would know, okay, I am talking to Andrew, or I am talking to Anoli, or I know who I'm talking to just by conversing with the person. And that kind of does away with the biometrics, because it it there's something there, like you say, there's an individuality there that it can't be replaced by anything. And AI would know just by your interaction that yeah, that is the person I'm talking to. And yes, I know how to, you kind of open it up to your memory or your brain or whatever, that you have something saved because it knows you then. And yeah, I thought that would be an interesting idea to tap into, especially in this group, and something that it might be far-fetched, but who knows? I mean, ideas have been far-fetched in the past. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I look forward to the chat next week, and I wish you guys a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Nice meeting you. Yeah, anyone else want to share an idea? Uh, Michelle,
Um, I want to. This is Andrew, right?
say again?
Yeah, I forgot. It's Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Just, just what you said, Andrew. This is crazy because I have the same idea because I was thinking about how to how to avoid the prompt injection because this is a really risk. Every day, your AI is going to check everything on the web, and you don't know what kind of hacking or prompt injection any document can have. So I was thinking the same thing because now I interact so much with my AI, so it should know and learn. This is Michelle I'm talking with because now I know with like stylography, you can actually uh, prove will show someone identity the way he's writing, the way he talk, the different word he's using. So I was thinking maybe if I can teach my AI to recognize how all the time I speak or the way I don't know, because most of the time for me, for example, every time I write a question, sentence question, I never put the question mark. Sorry, I'm too tired today, so it's difficult to find my word. But what I say is really like a way to maybe try to like you when you talk to someone on the phone, you recognize the voice, you recognize this person because even if someone can hijack a voice of someone else, but you know if you keep talking with a person, oh maybe something wrong, something is off. So I think it's very interesting idea to think about it, to maybe explore this way, maybe to how to secure the conversation you can have with your AI. So that was all I want to add for the conversation because I was very interested in just what you say because I'm working on it actually.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else wants to add on this or share some other ideas?
Yeah, I really like that idea. I mean, have been thinking a little bit about identity and how we're moving towards um, this kind of panopticon side of things, and also how very much we seem to focus on, especially with like AI and computing, like perfection, right? Getting the exact iris match, getting the exact facial vectors. Whereas humans are not perfect, right? So just to add to what Michelle and Andrew were saying is that it's our imperfections which probably identify us more uniquely than kind of like things. Well, obviously, an iris scan will identify you, but in terms of a more personal way, it's almost our imperfections as humans. Like, um, my spelling's not terrible, but like there are particular words that I will always spell wrong, right? Every time. And that's because it's just muscle memory now. And, I never bothered. It wasn't that important to me to have perfect spelling. I mean, a lot of the AI slop that's out, especially in terms of your journalism and stuff like that, is like identifiable because there's no spelling mistakes, right? And so yeah, just that's what you guys are saying. It's just that like little kind of foiboys and idiosyncrasies that we might have, and like just in our textual writing. I think is also like a good direction to possibly look at.
Thank you, Leon. Anyone else wants to share? I'm gonna share this idea, okay? And I'm gonna get my guitar to share it. I'm not gonna sing a song, yeah, don't worry. But there is these things that I did when I was 23. I was studying guitar like big time, and then I mean, since I was little, but when I was 23, what's happening is I left my band and I was exploring like a pioneer. I was exploring the sound. And at one point, I realized I was thinking, what makes the difference between, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix and David Gilmour, okay, two famous guitarists. If they play the same note, now it's not connected to an amp, but you should be able to hear, right? So if they play the same note on a guitar, it's possible to understand a different guitarist. Then I was thinking, how is that even possible? What are those elements that define one guitarist from another? And then is not the note, is the noise around it. Okay, each guitarist will make a different noise when they play the guitar. And that is what you were saying, okay, the imperfections. That imperfection defined that musician, the specific musician. And then what I started doing, I started saying, okay, but what about if I start adding noise to the sound? Instead of playing, like a note, I would just do like this. I don't know if you can hear it, okay? But what about if you start adding noise to the sound? And then basically you have the sound, usually you have the sound and a little bit of noise. You increase the noise and then you diminish the frequency that define the note. Then at one point you have more noise than notes. And then I started creating music with noise. That was total exploration. That thing in somehow defined my style, my creation. Now I make music out of noise. Okay, that is the sometimes you see that exploration will say, what are my imperfections that gonna define my identity? And now you realize that your value are your imperfections. You see what I mean? So in a reality where AI is always perfect, what really defines you? Okay, all the human messy and so on. Okay, that is become you. And that is why I don't do editing on my videos. Okay, because it has to be me, has to be human, has to be real, and that is the noise, which that noise can become music. That's what
Yeah,
I wanted to share. And
yeah,
plus, I
I
like
like
to
that.
hold my guitar, so.
I like that a lot. Because I've been looking into and doing quite a lot of painting with oils and just discovering that it's the underpainting is the thing that gives the piece its depth. That's the thing that and the underpainting is like almost like you just guided writing, right? Where you're not even thinking about what you're doing. You're just feeling what you're doing, flowing, going with the flow, um, pouring your emotions into onto the canvas, only to cover it up again, right? And then rub some off, and then cover it up with another layer, or maybe a layer which is slightly opaque. Um, and it's almost that, like you have like enfolded and exfolded realities. So, for instance, an enfolded reality might be the underpainting of your life, things which are hidden, things which you've been through, things which you've never told anyone before, experiences you've had that make you unique. And then what most people see is the presentation layer, right? That surface that we present to the world. However, depth is almost intangible in a way because it's enfolded. I think there's an author, what's his name? I think it's Talbot. He wrote a novel called the Holographic Universe, and that talks about the levels of kind of like low level, like you've got low level code, for instance, which as you go up in less and less abstraction, you get kind of like more almost simple kind of programming language, starting at like bare metal and coming up through like machine code. And it's almost that enfolded reality that he talks about as being these kind of interference patterns in the reality, like perturbations in like frequency perturbations, like with the guitar, for instance, when you're making a sound, you're creating a perturbation in the ether, like when you throw a pebble in a lake, it creates those ripples. And when those ripples actually cross each other, they create like these peaks and troughs, which then start to like create like form and like 3D. And like so with that same kind of frequency based perturbation, he talks about that's how like the physical reality actually starts to kind of coalesce into to the presentation layer. I know like I'm going all over the place with this, but I think what I'm trying to say is that like what we're saying, what we're kind of talking about is that the counterpoint to how the centralized uh, oligarchical kind of big tech um, conglomerates and powers, how they want to control and leverage AI is through like using big data to just like find like perfection, like find the perfect match, find the perfect this, what's the perfect that. Whereas the counterpoint to that would be the imperfection, the actual enfolded reality, the depth that's kind of hidden below the surface. So yeah, I think I'm kind of losing it here a little bit. That's
I'm
my
gonna
thread.
save you, but yeah, I think Leon, I totally understand. But this is the job that we need to do as explorers. The the idea that it's, the signal is the only thing that is important and the noise should be removed all the time. That is an approach, but it's not the only approach. And it might be the correct approach for high productivity, but life is not just high productivity. And therefore that is what we need to do, to think and explore. Maybe the opposite direction doesn't take anywhere. Okay, but if we don't explore it, we don't know. So it's just the idea of that is the culture that I was saying, right? When I said this AI is being developed for a specific part of the world where high productivity, massive, speed is the most important metrics. And that is one culture. It's not everything. Okay, there are so many other way of approaching this problem. So many other things that can be done with a different approach. But if that AI that really want to push you for high productivity, maximum speed, then some work cannot be done. Some other kind of research and exploration cannot be done. So that is what I mean, today's session, it is about this high level thinking, let's say, more explorative, more uh, looking into the philosophy side of the problem. And then, of course, that get translated into, okay, now I've understood this philosophy, this North Star. Now, when I code, I have a reference point. Okay, because this is how I've been building Resonant OS, and also allow me to build it at a certain speed because I'm solid on another part. Okay, so because that part, the philosophy, the idea is clear to me. Now I can work with AI that works really fast, but I know where to stop it, where to push it, and so on. So this is what we should do, basically. Let me put this back.
But I think it's partly because our brains need that reality, need that noise, need that friction in order to be inspired and to create. I I don't know. I think it's also the journey of the artist. You can be exploring uh, pure noise or complete missing completely, avoiding lyricism and beauty all your career, like Schoenberg, and at the end of your career, go, "Oh, I'm gonna rewrite the most lyric thing I ever did." No, and all that is the journey that you go on, and hopefully this will help us with both sides. I think we need this human interaction. I don't want the perfect thoughts. I want to debate and grow with you in this community. And every conversation we have, what happens? We meet for half an hour and we end up talking for 3 hours. It's so fulfilling and it's so good to grow with this.
Yes, exactly. There's this there's this idea of signal and noise and so on that is so interesting because it's in the signal there is the information. Okay, the noise represent this confusion and so on. Uh, Thank you, Stephen. Uh, so what is But when I make music, for example, with my modular synth, okay, the one that you see on my videos on the background. So what I do is I turn on the noise, okay, just this white noise, and in that white noise, my brain is gonna find symmetries and so on. So then the creation starts. So sometimes it's important to have, as a human, we need that element, and then we will see the symmetry. We will find resonance of within that noise. Okay, think about the white noise, like the TV when it doesn't. I don't know if the TV. I haven't used a TV for so long. I don't know if we still do this kind of things that where you have, you see anything. There is this noise. So on that noise, at one point, you will find some resonant with something. Then you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna discover. I'm gonna, dig in that direction and explore there. You always then find something. So yeah, that is something that is important to think. I hope that today's discussion already made you be a little bit more aware and realize about this monoculture AI versus the multi-culture that we need to build and empower. The beauty of silence, the tension of silence, how long it's gonna last. Love it. Um,
Just one
all
thing,
right.
Manolo, what you were saying, approximately 1% of the noise on your TV is the noise left from the Big Bang. They say it's the microwaves of the Big Bang. That's what you see there, 1%. So every time you see noise, there's some signal, even if you don't know what it is, and it will take you 30 years for technology to get there.
Exactly, but think about how deep can be this thing because we have as a human this intuition that say, okay, I feel something there. Okay, there is a massive noise, but yeah, but there's something that is calling me. I don't know why, and I'm gonna discover. Um, it, it, I think this is the thing that we need to do as a AI artisan, as a pioneers. Trust that call that you have inside you and say, I want to discover, I want to go there. It's crazy, it's nuts, nobody believe it, but I want to go there. That is the thing that I don't know if I know that most of you joined in the latest videos, but in the video that I was doing last summer, this is what was happening when I reached the limit of of this exploration, okay, where basically the known is being discovered, and now there is I mean, it's been learned, and now there is the unknown. So I was in front of me having the unknown, something that it was never been explored. And when you go, you start to walk in this unknown, there is really some phenomena that are interesting. First of all, you realize that if you don't have anchors, you can get lost in the unknown. Okay, it's like think about uncharted water. You don't know where you are, and therefore it's easy to get lost, to drift around. But then what is really exciting is wherever you go, you discover something amazing. I was discovering things every single day. And it was huge. If you see I mean, the video from last summer was like, I was so excited about everything because everything that I would touch was something new, untouched by anybody else. And at least that I knew. So it was new to me, let's say. And and I felt like there must be other people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay, and discovering every single day, I would discover some breakthrough, and that's why I managed to develop this augmentation philosophy because I was touching their reality, I was touching this drift, understanding all those elements, and realize this is amazing. So that is my intuition push me to go to the boundaries and then trusting myself I said I'm gonna get lost within this new world, and I could do it because I was first of all I trust my intuition, second I trust myself, but third I knew what were my anchors. Yeah, I knew how to go back and not get lost. And getting lost with AI, it's really simple, it's really easy because AI it just it's just a lie basically. It's a liar. So basically what is happening is let's say that you're exploring something, okay, that you think is true and amazing. AI will tell you, yeah, yeah, this is true and amazing, and therefore you're in that moment you're lost. Okay, because you don't know the reality anymore. You have an AI that is lying to you. Yeah, 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 this is amazing. This is the best idea ever heard. What you're discovering never been known by anybody else. You're the best. You're great. Carry on. Go, keep going. Keep going. Let's produce. Let's produce. And that is so dangerous. So unless you have elements, that you can grab and hold yourself to, then drifting, be basically manipulated by AI. It's so easy. It's so easy believing that you are doing something whatever amazing. And therefore, you need instead the ability to go back and to reality, which is not probabilistic, but is deterministic. And then from there, you say, okay, now I can evaluate what I've discovered, if actually has a meaning or not. So that was my journey, my experience. But as you know, I don't mind talking for hours, but like to to
Tom,
sh- feel
Tom,
free to
Tom,
share your thoughts.
Tom was having something there. Tom. Oh no, it's Saul. It's Saul. Sorry. Well, but Tom can talk as well. I think you're itching to talk anyway.
Hit the button. So I thought it would be fun to sort of maybe talk about. I just wrote it down there. Talk about the journey that an individual can take, and I sort of like we talk about imperfections, but part of it I kind of see it as like a signature. I always remember when I was in a country that people it's third world country, and it was strange how many people, especially when you went through immigration and you saw these guys who were giving you their signature. And we, at least in my experience from Canada, when I was signing something, I just go, and sign it. But these guys were just like creating this beautiful artwork, and then boom, and I thought, I did not know that I was so bad until this moment, that I've never taken any effort, and that's what they could control, is how beautiful their signature was. And I feel like that about people. People can come into a movement like this and they bring themselves, but they are a signature. Everybody is like the way they are, and they have unique abilities and gifts and shortcomings and everything in between. And so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about like what could it look like for somebody to come in with a dream, who they are, and I put like their intent or their whatever project or program, and then like what that could affect the movement, but how the movement could affect that, like them and their intention and their project. And I hope that's not too abstract. But if somebody said, hey, like one of the guys in this group here said, here's something I have that I'm really interested in doing. Could we talk about what it will look like when this thing is farther along? What it will look like when a person comes in as a newbie, gets engaged, goes through the process, and then comes out. Um, because that's sometimes that can give us like an idea about like what it will look like for us as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Or am I just speaking words?
No, that does make sense. And part of the reason that I'm focused on this is to build systems that can be accessible to my friends and family. I love this. I love breaking my computer. I love coding. This is all fun to me. But for most people, they need something that's useful. And so I want to be able to give people, discrete, useful AIs that they can leverage without having to do a lot of technical setup, and that can actually provide some value and not just burn tokens. And that's really what I'm attempting to get to. And I think that entails easy setup, easily accessible hosted services, whatever it is to get to a point where just a few clicks and you can use your AI. And we've got some of that, Manolo, I see, we've got the chat bot piece inside of Resonant OS, which is moving in that direction. But maybe even steps further where we have pre-configured AIs where someone goes in and says, I'm a teacher, or I'm a construction worker, whatever I am. And based on their self-identification, we give them an AI that's tailored in some respects to that. Maybe. Just thinking
Uh,
forward.
don't make total sense. Probably we are with the development, we need to push in that direction. But today, what we need to do is to also ask ourselves, but what is a useful AI? How does it look like? What define each one of us define something useful or not? Okay, that is the in basically today's call is it's about understanding this higher level thinking. Now, if we need to build something that is useful, we need to define how what is useful. Okay, because it's the assumption that to think that this is what is useful for you, this is what is useful for you, and I don't know if someone can tell me what is useful for me. Okay, I have to define myself. I need to discover it myself. I That journey itself helped me understand what I want to, achieve, how I want to work. So for in some scenario makes sense. So, again, for high productivity, makes sense to say, okay, this is the right tool for this job, and then you use it. But in other scenario, for mainly for creative people, for creative thinking, for strategists, what is useful to, for a strategist, for, or a creative person, what is useful is not always so obvious. So a prepackaged idea uh, of a tool it somehow limit the possibility of discovery.
So I'm gonna agree with you and disagree with you there. So I think having a prepackaged framework is beneficial and then allow it to be highly customized. You asked the question, what makes AI valuable? It's the ability for it to know me and what I need and what like my specific scenario instead of just saying, hey, because you're an IT provider, this is, the industry standard, so that's what you should be doing. Whereas like I'm able to go ahead and tell it, hey, look, I specialize in helping this particular type of client. I've got these are the psychographics and the demographics that I deal with. And like, so it's not your standard like IT scenario, it's very customized. So one of the things that we're doing right now is we're actually building out an app that helps people with their marketing. And kind of that first step in there is like digging in deep as into who are you? So one of the things that I think would be I wish happened with OpenClaw and Resident OS would be kind of having an intake form. Like instead of just saying, "Hey, here's the program that everybody has, figure it out." It's like, okay, well, what brought you to Resonant OS? Like, what are you going to be using this for? What are some of your hobbies? What are some of the things that your goals that you want to accomplish? And like have it learn a little bit about you, and then it can go ahead and start making a little bit more recommendations, becoming more personalized.
And crazy enough, Resonant OS works in that way. Uh, Maybe it needs to be improved, but I totally agree with you. So AI needs to understand uh, uh, who you are. And the idea of building this, I call it the creative DNA, and the anti-museum is exactly this one. So with I'm gonna share quickly, but I don't wanna stay on the software, but I'm gonna share quickly because I probably, John, you never saw Resonant OS.
While Manolo's pulling that up, you've done a great job with that, Manolo, setting up the initial intake. And I think the more we can streamline that and get someone to a very quick setup, like the quick start, and it can
Yeah.
continue, feeding as you go, but at least the quick start.
So there is a setup agent that allow you to first select the model, then do an audit on the model, but then there is this moment of uploading the documents. And what it does, the AI, you upload the documents, you give all the data that you want, okay? But then AI is going to ask you questions because it's not going to be happy. Okay, it wants to build the anti-museum. What is the anti-museum? Is your failure, your wrong decision, and so on. So trying to understand more about your personality, about you, okay, the values, the goal, and there is other things that need to be injected inside AI so then AI can really know you and work for you. So that part, it's extremely important. So I totally agree, and probably through with time we can improve this part. And you, John, if you're working on this part, and of course, if you want to be collaborating in building Resonant OS, and you care about this moment, let's discuss, let's improve it, let's make it better, and let's leverage also what this AI is learning. So this, what it does in this step is collect all the data, everything that is needed, also in this second step as well. Uh, I would say it's done in three steps. Basically, here collect the data, here create those soul, credit DNA, and so on, and then the intent as well. And then there is the gap analysis and see what is missing, what you didn't tell to AI, and then it's gonna ask some specific questions to create a proper knowledge about you. And this knowledge goes inside the essence of this. That's how we call it, where the is part of the creative DNA, the foundation of the knowledge about you. So I don't wanna stay on the app, but uh, we agree, and disagree. So anyway, we agree on what we should be building. Then it is about doing and improving and bringing our expertise and understanding on this part. So again, if you want to help building this part and you care about a specific element, let's discuss. Let's do it. And just for those that don't know, when you become part of the community, when you get inside the restaurant of S, you become co-owner of the app. Okay, so this is not open source. It's open source plus you own it. Okay, and it's a co-ownership model connected with the DAO. I'm not gonna go in details now, but just so you know. Uh, So, and again, what my analysis of what Tom said was not to say that that was not correct. What I'm saying here in this call that we have today, we need to try to challenge also those ideas that we know are correct. Okay, in the sense, okay, if we think because most of the time we know okay a teacher will use AI for that kind of work. Okay, we know it. We already ask, we might ask and whatever. Okay, so we know we're going to give that one. But the idea itself to say, how can I not limit the person within the tools that I provide so that person can become an explorer? Because that's what we need to do. Okay, we need to build this other idea that say, okay, you teacher that you are at school and so on, but now you feel that there is inside you, there is this intuition to go and discover something specific. How can we be allow this person to do it? How can we allow this person to go around the limits of the app? That is something to think about. It's not something to say anybody's wrong. Okay, my intention was just to say let's try to challenge those ideas and see if we can discover something more.
I think in that exploration, there has to be a part that requires challenging ourselves. It's when I started with AI, what I wanted were tools to do better what I do. So in my workshops, if we're talking about leadership, we're talking about, you know, cognitive processes, or we're talking about critical thinking. I was just thinking, oh, great, I will have better tools to do better what I do. But then I realized that I had to revisit the way I was working, the concepts I had, terms that I was using very superficially and I thought I understood. I would explore in real actual depth. And I think those explorers, it will have to be about grit and about pushing the boundaries. And I think we need to give them challenges, and they need to. It's the same that's happening with you guys, with the engineers. What you're doing, that energy is what we want as well in philosophy, in art. It's it has to have the same vibe as the pioneers tech, I think, as and that's just too open. I mean, and then of course, if somebody wants a very placid journey where it's not about that, but I think the ones exploring will be challenging themselves, and I want to help them.
Thank you, Chimo. Yeah, no, I agree. Is a correct word, challenging ourselves, uh, which is nothing to do that we are not good enough. It's not connected to that aspect. Okay, and it's more connected to I challenge myself because I want to know me better. I want to know. I want to improve. I want to grow, and uh, and think about there's no limit to it. Okay, so at whatever level you are, you can challenge yourself. There's not like I'm arrived and then therefore there's not challenging anymore. No, no. There is more you go higher and more you there is space for challenge, and less fear for it, and more drive to be challenged. So the point here is to let's use today, the Thursday meetings, to challenge ourselves, to challenge each other, to to push to the greater of ourselves, and to build a collective vision. Uh, this common reality that we can share, understand, and cherish, and invite people to it.
And again, what we say in most meetings, especially for Thursdays, please bring those people that they might be artists, they might be teachers, or whatever they do. Maybe they won't fit exactly with the pioneers tech. They're not into coding, but they would fit here. We need to talk to those people. Uh, we need to discuss and build with them, and also walk them through this beginning of their journey, so we learn how to be welcoming to them. So we don't get this super cool, you know, person that comes in and is terrified because they feel out of place and never comes back because they don't fit in the profile that it looks like what we are. Because what we're building in the future needs to be balanced in the future where nobody holds more power. So in the present, neither. In the present, that pioneers tech are not more important than everybody else here that is thinking about other aspects of what we're building.
Uh, yes, thank you, Chimo. For me, when I think about what we're building, and there is the tech that, of course, allow us to do amazing things in a short time, and to do things that we maybe can even be able to do by ourselves. But then, if you see what's the real value, if you dig and try to understand what's the real value, if I simplify, if I squeeze my eyes a little bit, what's the real value? It's the community. Okay, that is the community, because we as a people, we can change the world. Okay, AI now, what it does, it makes us believe that we can. Okay, that is the thing, that we don't even know in reality. We don't even know if it's an illusion that AI, we believe that AI can do this thing, but maybe can't, and maybe we'll never be able to do it. But we as a human, instead, for sure we can. It just we needed this external agent to allow us to think, yeah, yeah, we can change the world now, but we could have done even before. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so when I look at the community, this is what I see. Okay, it's the community is the real value, is the idea that we have, what we have the courage to do that change the world. That is the courage, because everybody can have AI. But we have the courage to say, yeah, yeah, everybody has AI, but I have AI, and with my AI, I'm gonna change the world. Okay, that is the difference. So it's the people that makes the difference. Now we are. I mean, some people left. Now we are 12. So there's 12 people in this room that is still here and still believe. Actually, there is Tom. There is three version of Tom. I don't know if there is, if it's three of you or just two of you, or well, maybe each one of us should bring, log in with a few accounts. But so I don't know how many of us is here. Okay, some of us are clones and so on. But whatever we are people committed to do this, and I love it. Even those clones. Sorry, but Tom, there is two of you or three of you, because I read a lot of Toms here.
Yeah, there's three of me, and I apologize. I've got a couple of cameras and a couple of PCs, and I'm semi mobile here, so
Okay. All right.
multitasking.
Okay, so we are nine in reality. Nine, nine. Yeah. Uh, all right. So I don't know. Now I'm lost with all those clones. So John, this is the second John here. Is it you or is It's somewhere else. John Crispala.
Not me.
No, you. All right. Um,
Yeah,
anyway,
he's, he unmuted. Hey, John.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry, I just been on mute the whole time because I'm at work right now, but just listening in. But my my background is mainly in finance, and I've been dabbling with AI for the last 2 years, and I had this whole vision of just creating my own trading. My trading OS that's that's not just static, but actually a living organism. And so for the last 9 months, I've been working at it. And in that journey, I've been coming across the most biggest painful experience, which is memory, because you're teaching it one thing, you're telling it to do all these things, but then 5 minutes later, it's like you're starting from scratch again. And I get so aggravated that I start yelling at it and calling it different names. I'm pretty sure everybody here could attest to that. And so I've diverted my focus into memory and kind of go into that rabbit hole. And so I've did all the research that I can make and I can get in data and understanding it and started developing on it. And so, by the way, I'm not no coder by any means, nor am I a developer. I mean, I have a background in real estate and building and stuff, so I kind of have some sort of architectural sense. And so yeah, I mean, I've I'm still in the process of building it out, but I kind of have some ideas on, how I'm gonna get it. And I mean, I actually have a working model right now, but it still needs some improvements. But yeah, so that's kind of like my whole journey with this whole movement, and yeah, just wanted to check this out and like minds attract. And so, Manolo had some thoughts that I kind of jive with, and so here I am.
thank you, John. And yes, the memory is such a fascinating topic because we all have it differently, and we all remember different things, and we pay attention to different things. And so the idea of architecting memory for AI allows also to reflect on how our memory works. And and one thing that for me was really interesting is the memory is one element, but what AI really needs is the awareness. So need to be aware of things. And the memory is one of the elements. Okay. We need to be aware about the past, about the decision that has been made. To make so with this level of awareness then can make interesting and useful reasoning and output. And so I started building this not just a memory, but an awareness system. And when you think about the awareness, basically you are working within the working memory. And and then you say, okay, what should be inside this working memory to allow AI to think properly? And and there is a lot of things. I don't know if you watched the video, but if you come on Wednesday, you will also see the app how it works. But one element that I want to share is this one, the which I share on one of the latest video, is the idea of we all see the same movie maybe, but we look at it in a different way, and each one pay attention to something different. So that's attention that you pay to something specific. Can be clothes, can be lighting, can be whatever it is. Okay, can be the accent of those different actors and so on. It's something that you notice, and maybe someone else doesn't. And the AI will probably just pay attention to what is the normal things to pay attention. Okay, but you can ask AI to pay attention to something specific. Okay, and count maybe I don't know, just to something stupid. How many cars did he pass through that movie? Okay, AI will pay attention. The moment that you ask, AI will pay the attention to that part. And therefore, the attention, this awareness, the memory that we build is something that needs to be architected for our specific case scenario. So there is, let's say, a layer of memory that is common to everybody. Okay, we watch a movie, we want to know the story of it. Okay, that is common to everybody. But then you might be interested in something specific. Okay, maybe the whatever it is. I usually use this example of director of photography because as a photographer, I really notice the shadow, the light, the contrast, the color, the contrast between the clothing and the background. All those things is something that for me is capture my attention, and for me it's really important to look at. But most people don't care. They don't care about the framing and so on. They all focus on the story. And so would be the AI. AI will be focused on the story, on the plot twist and the name of the characters and whatever. So architecting this the memory is so fascinating for all those elements. So before I provide other 5 minutes of silence and see what's happened, I exactly. I think okay. Now we passed our 1 hour and 30 minutes, so we can say okay, we did it. That was our first Thursday call where we talk about the bigger picture. So if anybody needs to go, of course, it's you're allowed now. After 1 hour and a half, now you're allowed. But if we want to all go, we are all allowed to do it. If we want to carry on talking and discuss something, we can do so. I think Chimo had a sort of a loosey agenda, I don't know how to say, but agenda that we might want to follow, we might not to follow. But I don't know if Chimo, if you
Well,
have
no,
something.
we kind of have hit in most of the things. It was just the only thing we haven't gone into, but I think we've done enough, was is there any items that we would discuss with the community here about the academy, the vocabulary we use, some of those aspects that if anybody has any questions that we can debate
Going practical, you mean, basically?
or not. It's like what we were
No,
talking
no,
the
no,
other.
it's fine. I like practical, just to make it clear to everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
Chimo is saying just Chimo wants to go practical.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, and that was actually about to be my suggestion is like, man, if there was some sort of an agenda here, like I'd have a little bit more prep to understand what we were trying to accomplish and to kind of speak to what Manolo was talking about a little bit about, the freedom, but making sure that you have the anchor. Like I'm a big fan of the whole yin yang philosophy, like 1 foot in chaos, 1 foot in stability. Like you need to have both in order to experience true growth.
Totally. So I'm gonna anchor this down, okay? And so today is the day of the of the not anchored day. Okay, yesterday was the one where the foot in the stability. Today was the foot on the chaos. But nevertheless, in this chaos and this more high level thinking, we have something that is needed. And there are a lot of things that is needed. Okay, so the what we want to achieve is something big. At the same time, we don't have yet a structure that can manage such a big idea, such a big project. Uh, we and it's fine because we are at the beginning, okay? But what we managed to do in the last few weeks is to build a structure for um, uh, the tech team, let's say. So now we have a few people. It's easy for people to join inside the tech team. We know what to do. We know more or less, the direction and and what we're building. Is there, is working, and it's gonna get better and better and better. And we know what to do. We need more people even there, John. So the idea here is that is there. There's a defined day for it, and I would actually suggest before I forget to the tech team to meet even just half an hour on Monday, the same time as today, to decide what to do during the week, but also what to present on the Wednesday call. So we decide on Monday, okay, on Wednesday call, we are gonna present these, so we need to finish those parts or whatever it is. So we are ready from Wednesday, but also we have a better idea of what to work during the week. That is how I think would be useful for us to have one fixed Monday meeting at the beginning of the week, so everything can move more smoothly. Of course, we can always have Discord and chat whenever we want and so on. But having something fixed, a deadline, a kind of meeting, it sounds good to me. Then, okay, so the tech part is the one that is more organized, let's say. Still problems, still things to do, but is the most organized one. What we need to improve massively is the community aspect. Because, like I said, at least to my eyes, the community is the biggest value, and we need to look after those new people that join and support and connect with them. Now we have people that join those calls. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and that is fine and that is normal. But there are over 650 people inside our community that are like-minded like us, but maybe they can't come on this time of the evening or the day, whatever time is in your world, but they can't come to those calls, but they would like to participate. Now we are we need to connect with these people and make it happen. So we have our community team, which is Sal and Chimo and myself, of course. But that team also need to grow. There is other people. There is I can't remember the Gianni, I think it's called, that is helping us with Discord, and it's going to be some other people that can do the moderator inside the Discord and can help people uh, with Discord and the community. But that is the second big step. But then there is other steps that we need to do, and we need to discuss because at the moment. I think there are people inside the community that could cover a lot of different positions, but unless we connect with them, then we don't know. So that work of getting in chat, getting in touch is extremely important. Yeah, we are. I think we are all going, Greg. Anyway, thanks for joining the call. Um, So that is, I mean, that's what we should try to do. And I don't like to to push anybody. So every one of you, if you feel like, okay, I can help in this, I can help in this other thing, I think we should do this or something else. That's how we should work. Okay. So if you have any ideas, doesn't matter if you are new in this or your level of experience, if you're happy to help, would be great.
Yeah, would love to. And I think this aspect of it is just as important, or maybe more important than the technical aspect. So working on getting the DAO communities and getting some things off the ground. Leon was talking about his artist, free sites and trying to create some peer-to-peer stuff. I'd love to talk to him about that. I've had some thoughts around that for other artist types. So I think it's a good place to start. At least forming groups even before the technical aspect is completely refined, because it's going to always grow. So just use what we have.
So
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
going to preface what I say with I'm a very logical person, direct to the point. I have no malice. Like I'm not trying to degrade or belittle or anything like that. But when I filled out the form to help out, um, you could tell very much it was written by a creative. The questions that it asks, like if I didn't have a more open mind, I would have been like, this probably doesn't fit. Like maybe this doesn't work for me. It is very beautiful language and everything like that. I didn't know how to answer most of the questions. I'm like, there's not a yes or no. Like so maybe take that into consideration for when you're trying to get volunteers to start working on things as well.
Amazing feedback. Thank you, John. If you don't mind, is it possible for Chimo to contact you on Discord and maybe have a chat about this form, so you can
Sure.
give a specific feedback, and we can learn and see from your
Yeah,
point of
because
view?
what we want is, and that form was made before we spoke with people that have experience, like Gianni and Sambridge, and they've been part and moderated huge communities on the Discord. And now we
Mhm.
know that what we want is a really minimal conversation, always interaction with a human. That's what they told us. And then you can direct them. This is more going with the pioneers tech. This is going to go more towards the academy. And now there you do go further in the interview. But yeah, it would be great to meet you, John, and discuss a bit further. So if it's okay, I'll send you a direct message. Is that okay? Or I'll email
Absolutely.
you. Yeah, I got your details now, because you also dropped your email there. Cool. Thank you, John.
And yeah, so thanks a lot for this feedback. It's you see, sometimes you think it's a little thing. Shall I share it? Shall I not say? No, you did it, and then we can improve. That's how it is. So we really appreciate everything you feel. Okay, if there is a friction, if there was something that you want to say, if there is that I call it dissonance. Okay, and if there is a little dissonance, if that's dissonance, it's not a problem. Is there where we need to go? Okay, there's dissonance there means we need to go there and explore, understand the dissonance, so we see the dissonance as an attractor. Okay, there is dissonance there. Let me go and check. Let me learn. Let's improve. And it's not an enemy. Okay, so if there are any other dissonance from every one of you, let's look at them and let's resolve. Those are easy to resolve. So, John, that you have a lot of dissonance, yes. So if you have more, feel free to share now or with Chimo when you meet. Honestly, they're all welcome. I would say if there is nothing else to say, we don't we can go. Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, John.
Nice
Thanks you,
meeting you
everyone.
guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
See ya. Bye bye.